Hello. This is a video addressed to the folks over there at the Anti-Racist Canada blog. I just wanted to make this video to address your comments to me in your most recent blog post that I see here, and also ask a question for you. And I guess I will just pose the question first before I address your comment to me. And my question for you guys would be, why are you always lying? It seems like all you guys do over there is manufacture propaganda and lie about stuff in between talking about some legitimate trash. And to elaborate on why I'm asking you this, I see in your most recent post you've addressed me here, and you say that in regards to the Sufi's restaurant, which announced it was closing down due to death threats, and which I've been covering in my streams all week as you've been watching. And you write, regardless of one's opinion on what happened in Hamilton, absolutely no one who isn't a fascist jackass would approve of what was done here. Even those who supported it by running with conspiracy theories and not checking their followers' comments while maintaining that they don't believe any threats actually occurred, looking at you, Alex, are to blame. And I see that you have screenshots here from my chat, and you also wrote about me, Van Ham and others continued the conspiracies and lies on YouTube. So, I have to ask, why you lying? Why are you making propaganda again like this, and trying to smear me here? I didn't lie in any of my streams at all. I clarified exactly what I said were facts, and then I said here are some of my opinions, and here is why I'm skeptical of some things, and I explained why. My positions were very reasonable. You completely act in this article as if at 7:25 in my video I didn't start off by expressing exactly how I felt, which was sympathetic to the family if the death threats are real, and by saying I don't condone them, and disavowing that sort of thing, and then basically saying that people shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. You absolutely misrepresent me when you selectively choose things for my stream like that. So, what my question really is, what's this end game about your whole blog all really about? Because, I am not stupid, and I'm a little bit educated, especially in things related to media and language, so I can recognize what you're doing, right? But I don't want to accuse you things if you're not doing, so I'll just elaborate for a moment on what I think you're doing, and then if you feel like responding to this video to correct me if I'm wrong about something, then I'd very much appreciate that. But it seems to me, having read books like 1984 and Propaganda by Edward Bernays, that it's fairly obvious that you have chosen to use semantics to kind of disguise what you're doing, calling yourself an anti-racist blog. To me, seems kind of like the Ministry of Truth in 1984. It seems like you're basically promoting hatred most of the time, specifically hatred towards working class white people, which I don't understand. And the reason I think you're doing this is because, I know some of you over there are upper class white people, and I think a lot of it is an attempt at virtue signaling, and also, though, I suspect that a lot of you probably are fairly, privileged people and kind of weak, and want to basically LARP as something that makes you feel a little more empowered, like a white knight. And in order to validate this kind of constructed identity, you need there to be actual, Nazis or something to kind of justify this whole LARPing thing that you've created. And that's why you're going out there and, calling the PPC Nazis and fascists and stuff. None of it makes any sense. Plus, you're basically an anonymous group of people who cover for Antifa, who are a very, aggressive, hateful group. And all you do is try to dox people, which is basically a call to action against many people. On my blog, I have always been consistent with my messages, my principles. It's a liberal blog because it's a free speech platform. And I've always had a no doxing policy because I'm not a hateful person, and I don't actually wish anything to go beyond the realm of dialogue, which is what this free speech thing is all about. So, again, I have to ask, what is this really about? Is it about money? Because I see that you guys are getting, donations here, and you list Evan Balgord as one of your supporters, and of course, you at the Anti-Hate Network may or may not be getting money from other sources. And so, I'm curious, how much money do you guys get given to you on Patreon for producing this kind of propaganda? Because don't get me wrong, you definitely highlight some legitimate hateful racist people on here, but a large portion of this is also just people who are not progressive or slightly right of center that you just lump in here with these weird characterizations. So and your morality is so arbitrary to me. I'm fascinated by it. It's all empathy for this family whose restaurant is going out of business. And don't get me wrong, if the story as they frame it is correct, I'd feel empathy for them too. But you seem to have no empathy for this elderly lady that was harassed at the PPC event. And, you know, my streams, again, I haven't lied about anything. Accusing me of lies is dishonesty on your part. Feel free to explain at any point or clarify where I've lied about anything. I'm very careful with my words, and I've clarified exactly what in this story was my personal speculation and why, and what was fact. Also, trying to demonize a whole group of people who are speculating on this issue, reasonably so, makes no sense to me. It's reasonable for people to be upset about this issue. But again, I've expressed that I don't believe in threatening this family or condone that or anything, and I think the people who did that are bad people. But it's reasonable for people to see, someone who they find out is a newcomer to Canada, who seems to be a wealthy person that got in here in a refugee program, who's a newcomer here, as a member of Antifa, engaging in street violence all the time, and then to see the reaction from things. I can understand people's point of view on, why it upset them. Now, if you're really about, fighting hate, you should try to understand other people's points of view. You should try to sympathize with a lot of people, because really, again, like I said, it seems like you're mostly about constructing propaganda aimed at hating on white people, specifically working class white people. And I just have to wonder, what is the point of it? Imagine what you guys could accomplish over there if you were actually doing something noble, instead of basically trying to get people hurt through this anonymous blog that you run. Like, you have all this energy, and you spend so much of your time in the Yellow Vest group, like, monitoring all this random crap. Like, what's the point? Like, all this stuff does at the end of the day is exacerbate problems, cause conflict, destroy cohesion between different groups. It's not cohesive to actually producing, like, goodwill amongst people at all. And so those are kind of my thoughts. I don't want to ramble in this video too long, but like I said, it certainly doesn't seem to me like you guys are very honest, or that you really are ever fair in acknowledging what Antifa is, because they're certainly a hateful group in my perception of things. So anyway, I welcome a response to this video. I don't think you would ever give me a direct response, but if not, I'm sure I'll see you on Twitter and around. And, actually, before I let you go, I want to make one more point, too. I have clarified this. I wanted to make this clear one more time, though. As we've spoken on Twitter, I'm not a hateful person. I wish you guys over there no ill will. And I've asked you this directly, and you've clarified for me. I know that if we were at a political protest and we were disagreeing on some issue like free speech, and we were arguing and people were getting heated, and then let's say you had a one of your members had a medical emergency, like a seizure, and they fell on the ground and they needed medical help right away. I am a human being with empathy. I would absolutely call 911 right away. I would try to, despite having political disagreements with people, I wouldn't wish harm on anyone. Of course I would help you. Even you. Even all the way, everything that you've done and the way you've treated me in the media and all this other stuff, I still, I don't hate you guys. I'm still trying to figure out beyond, what you're doing beyond just being haters, I suppose. But I know that you've clarified that you would absolutely let me die. You'd stand there and just let me expire. And that's why I also don't think you're compassionate people. I think that this is all some sort of big virtue signal or something, because the real hate and the real racism seems to be emanating the strongest directly from your own blog. So anyway, those are my final thoughts, and I'll see you guys around. Take care.